Hello everyone, and welcome to Rewind, the retro video game show coming to you live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the AWS for Games channels on YouTube and Twitch. My name is Chris Melissinos, and I'm the Principal Evangelist for video games here at AWS. And on this episode of Rewind, we're going to take a look back at the SEGA-CD. Released in Japan in 1991 and then in the US in 1992, the Sega-CD was the second CD-ROM based console add-on released to the market. Designed to compete with the TurboGrafx CD add-on, the Sega-CD was more powerful than the offering by NEC. During this time, Nintendo had announced that they were also producing a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo with Sony, so the race was on. Sega wanted to best NEC and beat Nintendo to the market, but they were not the only companies bringing CD-ROM based systems to the market at that time. Commodore with the Amiga CD32, Philips with the CDI, and just a few years later, the 3DO and Atari Jaguar CD. Then, of course, disc-based systems, save for the Nintendo 64, became commonplace. The Sega CD boasted some pretty good specs for its time. It ran a Motorola 68000 CPU at 12.5 MHz, which was faster than the Genesis's 7.5 MHz. Say that 3 times fast. Genesis's. Then the Genesis 7.5 MHz version of the same processor. 1 megabit of boot ROM, 6 kilobits of backup RAM. This could be expanded also by using a 1 megabit backup cartridge. So finally, you could start to save your games on the system, something that was a bane of our existence before we had backup batteries or backups just as part of consoles. It included a custom ASIC graphics chip that could handle sprite rotation and scaling, very similar to the Mode 7 on the Super NES, and a Ricoh RF5C164 audio processor that expanded the audio capabilities of the entire Genesis and Sega CD assembly. The Sega CD went through several revisions, with the Model 1 being a front-loading version, which is the best-looking one in my opinion. The Model 2 was a cost-reduced version that included a top-loading CD mechanism, and then the holy grail of versions, the portable Genesis CDX, which combined a Genesis and a Sega CD into one small portable unit. These versions will actually run you anywhere from $400 and up in the collector market. So Sega had also licensed the technology to other third-party companies, which is something we would see the 3DO do in its lifetime, with Victor releasing several different models, Pioneer creating an add-on for their laser active system, and JVC and Iowa releasing systems as well. The Sega CD had a library of more than 200 games during its run, with several breakouts which we'll look at today. And in addition, there were a few Sega CD games that also worked with the 32X. And this configuration of the Sega Genesis CD and 32X is referred to as the Tower of Power. And the Sega CD was discontinued in 1996 and had sold approximately 2.25 million units during its production run. Now, while plagued, although I liked some of the titles, with full-motion video games that suffered under the Genesis limited color palette and less than full-screen video playback, the Sega CD is fondly remembered by the retro game community as a step into the future of content distribution, game types, and pushed the boundaries of what was possible at the time. There are also a few games that stand out as being among the best in their series. So let's rewind to a time when CD-ROM technology was new, Sega was going to welcome you to the next level, Let's jump on into the bit room and fire up some SEGA-CD. Oh, and here we are over in the bit room, and there we have, oh, somebody already put the SEGA-CD out for us. Yay, everybody. Yeah. There's a little air horn, of course. Yeah, a little bit of cheering and clapping going on there. And look, it's a beautiful night outside of the bit room today. We got a couple of planets out there. But I think instead of watching that, we're going to go ahead and pop up an entire stream of SEGA-CD commercials as we go ahead and play through some of the games in the catalog here. So, the Brandon Lauren, I wanted a SEGA-CD so badly in 3rd grade. Asked for it as a Christmas gift. My mom got me a 32X instead by accident. Yes, where's, oh my goodness, where's all my stuff? There you go. All right, thanks, the Brandalorian, for first time chat there. Yeah, I remember, when the SEGA-CD came out, I wanted that one so badly as well. Fortunately, at the time I was working, I was able to go in and get one, but it did cost me quite a bit. Jetman81, I remember the 32X. I remember that too. And anticipating the Night Trap disco. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about Night Trap, of course. That's what you're anticipating today. We're definitely going to go ahead and talk about that today. So here's, you have to remember at the time that the SEGA-CD was released, CD-ROM technology was really just brand new, and it was extremely expensive to actually go ahead and get a hold of a CD-based system. And I had a TurboGrafx CD add-on, which I thought was amazing, especially when you started to play around with things like the CD plus G. So graphics on an audio CD that would be displayed on the screen was just stupid. Like, we were like, oh my God, how is it doing this thing? And it was, I have a huge amount of fondness and love for the TurboGrafx. It is an underrated and underappreciated system back then and today. But, well, not today. Back then it was. Today, huge fan base, globally. And they had some wonderful games in there. But the SEGA-CD was about to go ahead and set forward, kind of the future plans for Sega. They knew that they needed to go ahead and make sure that they were involved and make sure they had a system in market that could go ahead and play this stuff, and they did. So they released this awesome system. So we're going to go ahead and jump in to some SEGA-CD gameplay right now. Why don't we start with one of the best for the CD, and that would be Sonic CD. And I'm going to tell you a little story as we fire up Sonic CD here. So I'm going to kill this music audio in the background. Notice this title screen here, the scaling and rotation that we saw. That was just not something that Genesis could do. So we were like, what? Like, how the hell is it doing that? It was pretty awesome to see at the time. And so the Sonic CD is considered by many to be the best 2D Sonic game ever done. Look at the cloud scaling that you see scrolling by. You have multiple layers of parallax scrolling in the water. It was just, again, this is something that the CD-ROM could do, but the Genesis couldn't on its own. And so we were like, what? This is amazing. All right. So, oh, I just paused it there. My apologies. So, what you're going to see too is this animated opening. Let's watch. Now you'll notice that this is kind of thumbnailed in the middle of the screen here because the Genesis really couldn't push full screen video playback. But I was so unbelievably impressed by this at the time that I actually used this video in a college marketing class that I was taking to talk about how technology was going to change the games industry, and look what we're going to be able to do with this stuff. And, now we're going to have cartoons involved there. It's going to look just like that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, of course, I'm sure I was the coolest guy in the school talking about Sonic CD while in college, but yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, the Brandalorian. Yes, look at that Blast Processing Plus. That's right. Yeah, all of those extra bitness and an extra CPU in there doing all this bitness stuff. Yeah, of course, right? It was fantastic. Jetman81 reminds me of doing a business analysis of Pixar in college. Yes, but Pixar, at least had, I think, a bit of a broader appeal than Sonic CD did in the early 90s. Right? So, but I was fine with it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Harmonics with Rockman for an entrepreneurship class for MBA. That's awesome. That's really awesome. 180 by 120 pixel lead via Cinepack compression. Yes, and so there's also another group, I believe it is the CRI group at Sega that also worked on video compression and things like that. If you remember something called the duck processor or the duck codec for video as well, I believe that filters in here somewhere as well. But let's go ahead and dive into Sonic CD a little bit here. So what made it so good was they really went ahead and had these branching levels that would take you into the past and the future, and it coupled it with this awesome soundtrack. And of course, all of Sonic's attitude. And of course, this is a run to the right sort of game. Look how it changed perspectives there. And that's, of course, this stuff that we were all attributing to the extra processing power of the Sega-CD. And you heard it just say future. That's because we just unlocked the future. You notice I've got sparks trailing up at me. I don't think I'm going to get it right now, though, because, yeah, I missed it. So what happens is now go into the past. If I can run fast enough. Come on. Let's see. Come on. Oh, my God. What it would do is it would then put you into the future or the past. So, and it would go ahead and change the level layout. It would go ahead and change collectibles on the level. And so the nice thing is that what it was doing, look at that, made it all the way to the goal, running to the right, right? But the cool thing about that would be that you could go ahead and use the same levels or the same zones that you're in and provide different experience and basically branching experience for the players. And then it would also lead into different collectibles and different levels of completeness and all that other stuff, right? That you would get by, see, look, if I just hold right, let's see how far we can get. I'm not going to touch anything else. We're just going to hold to the right. Let's see how far we can get Sonic through. There we are. We just hit a rock. So that wasn't our fault. All right, there's my checkpoint. Let's go ahead. And, a wider variety of enemies to be had, of different mechanics. So let's go. Can I? Oh, no, that I would have to pop up through that one, not drop down through it. Okay, so here's the future. Oh, let's see. Come on. Can we do it? No, damn it. Are we going to make it? Nope, didn't make it. Oh, and I missed, of course, the past there. Because, like I said, holding to the right. And also because I'm thinking about all the other games I'm going to have to get through today. But you can see, again, it was just vibrant and exciting and beautiful, and it's Sonic, I mean, it's awesome. All right, let's see, can we, damn it. All right, let's try one more time. There we go. Let's see. There we went. All right, so we went ahead and warped into the past, and look at that warp there. All right, and let us see where we are now. So you can see graphics have changed, right? We're in a different time zone, a different time era for Sonic, and yeah, it's really cool. And so this added a whole lot more depth to, again, what is derisively known as the run to the right sort of game. And there was my goal, and let's see, you can hear the music also changes to fit the time era it's in. So really just a wonderful extension of what Sonic 2 was, and Sonic 3, of course. But again, this game is considered to be the best still, even with Sonic Mania and Sonic Generations and all this other things. Christian Whitehead stuff, really, really fantastic. Huge fan of his work and the kind of the reimagining of Sonic for Sega. But this, for me, with the music, the level design, the time traveling aspects to it, this is peak Sega, man. This is when Sega was firing on all cylinders. Okay, can I get underneath Dr. Robotnik here? Let's see, come on. Yes, oh no. See, I also hate that too. Okay, that was a cheap-ass shot. Now I'm gonna get bumped back, of course, right? Damn it. All right. Let me go ahead and pay attention to this here instead of talking for a second. And see, that is one of the mechanics that did change. You have to hold down the rotation, the button there, instead of letting it go. Otherwise, Sonic won't move forward. So let's go ahead and kick Eggman or Dr. Robotnik's butt here. All right. And while we're doing that, let's go check over here. How we doing over there? Okay, let's see. Can we get up underneath this guy? Yeah, see, he's just bouncing me back. So just at least have one. There we go. That's 1 and 2. And here he comes. Come on. Come on. Yeah, stop trying to bounce me back there, buddy. Ah. Gotta grab that one. Come on. Come on. Okay, knocked him off there. Knocked him off there. All right, and there he goes. That big dummy. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and drop down here. There we go. And you still run just as fast as you need to. And look, we went ahead and blew it up. Hooray! Yay! We went ahead and got to the end of the level. That's fantastic. So that was Sonic CD again. The CD added all these other, layers of complexity to the game that we hadn't seen in cartridge-based games. So, all right, let us go ahead and bounce on out of Sonic CD, and let's go ahead and jump into. Let's see, what should we jump into? If anyone has any ideas that are watching, please go ahead and share them. Or if there's stuff that you want to see, I'll see I have it in my library here. Let me also say hello. Hey, gang. And if anyone's watching on YouTube versus Twitch, let me know how the video is coming through there. Yes, so one of the questions came up here from the Brandalorian, which love that name, Sewer Shark. Yeah, let's go ahead and fire up Sewer Shark. So one of the things that the SEGA-CD was plagued with, as I said in the beginning, was a lot of full motion video games, right? So these are games where all of the video, or rather the gameplay is really on video that's mapped right to a background, and then you have a foreground layer. Let's see, yeah, let's have a little background music going here that I can adjust a little bit up and down there. All right, so here we go. So this is Digital Pictures. They were probably the most prolific full motion video game company of its time, and so let's dig in a little and watch some Sewer Shark. Once again, notice his thumbnail right there in the middle of the screen, right? Because couldn't do full motion video. So let's see the acting. So Rob Fulop. So here's a bit of nerd trivia for you. Rod Fulop was one of the original Atari VCS programmers, and he left and he formed a company called Imagic that did a bunch of games like Demon Attack and Atlantis and a bunch of awesome games like that. And he talks about having received a coupon for a free turkey as a bonus. I believe it was for Missile Command that he'd worked on at Atari, and that didn't sit too well with him. So rather than cash in that or redeem that ticket for a turkey, he just framed it and kept it in his office. So yeah, this is Rob moving over, doing some of the work here on Sewer Shark.
The ghost here, I always come back for more.
So you can see with the limited color palette, right? It, it made it a bit difficult for, didn't make it difficult. It just was less than optimal, suboptimal. All right. So we have to go ahead and make our way through the sewers. Here we go. Oh, dog meat. What? All right, so now as you're going through, you have to blow up all of the... Oh. Don't let him freak out, man. All right. Hey, look, maybe that's where Portal 2 got the idea to have that sphere-based protagonist with you. Okay, so now what do we need to? We need to shoot all of the critters, but then also make sure that you are moving in the different hallway directions that it's telling you to move. So there we are. All right, so now I have to move up. I missed that one. Let's see. Oh, there he is. And so, yeah, you can see you're just basically on a full motion video track, and then flying through. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to remember my jump data. My apologies. Well, I'm dog meat. I'm not very good. I don't know what do they want from me, man? Yelling at me is not going to get the job done, sir. Oh, pencil neck. Ugh. Yeah, full motion video games always look like Mr. Science Theater 3000 episode. Hell yes, it did. Woo. Okay, yeah, there we go. Listen to that thumping soundtrack as a result of the power of CD Red Book audio. Fantastic. Actually, no, this is using the Yamaha, or actually the Rico audio processor in the SEGA-CD. Oh, let's see. Man, that guy is all over the place there. Okay, come on. Got that guy. We got that rat. Oof. Yeah, so this is basically it. It is a shooting gallery that tried to bring full motion video into the experience, you know. And it was cool. I mean, look, it was cool at the time, you know. Look, remember, this is before DVDs, right? So we were still using aerials for, you know, antennas for television. We had cable TV, and then we had VHS cassettes, right? So we're kind of used to some of this jankiness, right? Actually, I'm going to pause this first. I'm going to move my window over here so that way I can see the chat. And also, it has me looking at the TV instead of off into the other. Oh, no. Terrible. There it is. The ghost was David Underwood. Let's see. Robert Costanza. That's George's brother, apparently. Robert Weaver. Look at that. Tunnel music composed by Mark Mothersbaugh, who is, of course, from Devo, right? Yes. Oh, hey, GSK BLR. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for showing up here today. So yeah, it is funny, you know, when you go back, you take a look at the you know, the credits and stuff for some of these older games, you'll see people that were, you know, in other media kind of popping up, you know, pretty awesome. Well, let me say hi to the chat here. Yo, okay, so that is Sewer Shark, but let me go ahead and show you another full motion video game that I liked better, right, than Sewer Shark. So there were a couple of games that were done by a company that you may know of called Psygnosis. And Psygnosis, they were very famous during the Amiga era, and then of course they were acquired by Sony, and they created games like Wipeout, and they were basically the first party studio for Sony for the PlayStation. And a good buddy of mine, Dominic Mallinson, went over there to lead the PlayStation R&D group for many years. And he had two games on there. One was Nova Storm, one was Microcosm. And I loved this one, right? I mean, it is, again, flying through this environment with, you know, full motion video in the background. You know, it's so weird. We call it full motion video as opposed to what? Like non-motion video? Like, that never made sense to me. You know, I know what they were trying to say, right? It's like full movies, but full motion video? No, you don't need to. Video implies there's motion, right? And it couldn't be full screen, so they couldn't call it full screen video, right? So they must have done it this way. All right. Licensed by Sega Enterprises. Ooh, there's that Owl Psygnosis logo. They had also done another game that became pretty famous at the time, called Shadow of the Beast, which made its way to a bunch of different platforms. Parallax scrolling. It was, you know, side-scrolling arcade game on whatchamacallit, on the Amiga. So really, it was cool at the time.
Members of the Supreme Council, governors of the Federated Worlds, we are in a crisis.
We are in a crisis. Members of the Federated World.
In recent months, mysterious
Damn it.
systems crashes have plagued all of our systems. Initially thought to be just software error, evidence now points to something else.
Oh, apparently it points to something else. That's
center
crazy.
in the system was linked by one interplanetary network.
Interplanetary. It sounds like the beginning of the Beastie Boys track. Oh, that would be intergalactic. Yeah, I know.
Designed to adapt to evolving situations.
All right. Oh, look at that. That thing coming at you would scare the crap out of you, wouldn't it? Heck yes.
Manufacturing facilities have been damaged beyond repair.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. Enough of the full motion nonsense. We're going to be able to watch some more of those movies later. Here we go. And so you are battling out. Listen to music. I love the music on this too. All right, here we go. Let's go start that game. We've got some load times popping in here. All right, look at that little CD loading time. Remember, this was, I think it was a single speed. Yeah, it must have been a single speed CD. Okay, yep, and as I'm trying to figure out the controls, I went ahead and just used my... Oh, there we go. So this one, I think this one feels a little better or more cohesive than Sewer Shark did. Well, let me turn that down a little. I think that audio up there is pretty loud. You know, and so the backgrounds kind of fit the theme, and the color palette that they used and the footage they used is actually pretty good. And so it's a competent shooter. And it's got goes right in those little cutscenes. Yeah, look at that. And here's the crazy thing, right? It isn't even real parallax scrolling because it is flat plane video with flat plane sprites that are basically scaling to get further or closer away. And oh, look at that. Oh! And the thing is, because they have a basic collision bounding in the areas that they know, you know, the video occupies, it makes it feel like you're bouncing off the real ground, right? So you can see it sparks because I bounced off that lava. It's not bounced off the lava. They just defined where in the video they needed to put the bounding boxes. And it works, right? Flying under those bridges. Here's the thing. Here is the real trick, right? When we talk about game developers, and we talk about the work that they have to do. It is about making you feel you're in a bigger space than the technology can actually occupy. And we've talked about this, you know, I've talked about it over the years in doing game preservation and stuff like that. When games like Myst were first released, you know, they couldn't use full motion video as well. And so this is when QuickTime first came out, and all they could do really were postage stamp sized video on the screen. So in the beginning part of Myst, you step into an elevator, and when the door closes, you can see through this small window that has bars on it. And then when you choose, you know, which level you want to go to, you see the rocks on the wall outside of the little window moving. And so they're only animating a postage stamp in the middle of the screen, but it felt like the entire room was moving. And that was the thing. It wasn't about having everything move the way you would think it would. It was about making you feel like it did. And that is exactly what they're doing with this, right? It made it feel like the system was more capable or bigger than it actually was. So this was a good example of a full motion video game, right, on the SEGA-CD. Loved this one. And again, because it's a good shooter, right? So, all right. So now, instead of using full motion video like this, let's go jump into yet another game that also used full motion video to go ahead and make the world feel bigger than it actually was. And that game is Silpede. So this is another really fantastic. Well, you know what? I keep saying that. All the games I'm going to show you, I feel they're fantastic, which is exactly why I went ahead and picked them, right? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yay! Yay for the SEGA-CD. Yay for video games. Freaking awesome. Let's see. I mean, consider it an early iteration of a concept like checkerboarding done today. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, you know. And when we look at the way we've had to evolve in moving from 2D to 3D in game development, all these different tricks that had to be employed. I mean, think about from the point of view of being an early game developer. And now equate that to, let's say, an artist. So if you have someone that's only ever been painting on canvas with oil, and now you move them into a world where you say, here's a hammer and a chisel and go make what you were painting out of that marble over there. That's a really difficult thing to do. And so we were all learning how to go ahead and utilize technology that was underpowered, that was asking more of us really than it could provide, and having to go ahead and create this suspension of disbelief. That is the magic of game developers. That is why game developers are some of the smartest people in the computer industry that I've ever had the privilege of working with, right? Because they are figuring out how to stretch, squeeze, and bend technology to do stuff it was never designed to do. It's really, really awesome. So it seems like the story of the games and software in general always adapt, take advantage of new things, or optimize for shortcomings. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just that with the thing I've always, marveled at with video games over every other form of media is that the tools for production of other media, when we're done producing that media, there's a separation between the technology that created the piece and then the technology to utilize the piece or to engage with it. So video, I have an entire side of production that happens with cameras and lightings and systems and robotics and movement systems, servo-based systems, that when the movie's produced, now all of that technology is separated from the act of watching it. Games are not that way. They are still bespoke pieces of content that have to be moved and ported, take advantage of all the different systems upon which they can be played. And so video games still have risen to become the most engaged form of media that we have on the planet, in spite of the fact that it still requires the same type of hardware considerations underneath as it took to make them. Extraordinary, right? Extraordinary. The game is live. Everything built is executed real time on your device. That's right. It has to be executed in real time on your device. So the kernel of an engine is still running on the device. The kernel of the application is still running. All the routines that they were using on one side have to be executed on the other side. There isn't a severing between the technologies of creation, the technology of execution. They sit kind of within the same sphere, right? Anyway, all right, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about Silpede. And again, man, when we saw this game, and I apologize, I have a little bit of a cold going on, so if I sound a little nasally, that is why you hear that.
Or it could sound like this.
But yeah, where did that come from? All right, listen to that. All this flat shaded art, right? So easier to process, although it's actually not processing stuff in 3D, right? It's kind of cutscene-ish. All right, let's see. Here we go. And everything's kind of on kilter, right? It's like tilted up on the side. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a moment. Ooh, look at that. So you got that full motion background going. And then you have all your enemies come screaming out at this angle. Oh, in different sides. By the way, this is my favorite genre, right? Shmups are my absolute favorite genre of game. Or I should say it's one of my favorite. I mean, I can always go to. The great thing about games like this, right? You just jump in, play for a little bit, get back out, get your taste of gaming for, in 20 or 30 minutes and then off to do something else. But there are some that will just, keep you in for hours. And Silpede, man, when we saw this, oh, look at the earth rotating away, and you have all that radio chatter coming in. Oh, so good. All right, let's see. Of course, my shields are completely got obliterated. And sorry, I was turning up the volume here. Get a little bit more of the audio in here. I'm gonna probably die here. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see. Do we have any other power-ups we can get? Okay, got one repair. Got two. They just wiped out our planet. I think it's what he said. Yeah, but look at that. So you have this really kind of lush, awesome background, and then what do you have? All these flat, shaded, low poly enemies that you're fighting, right? Oh, look at that. Woo! Again, we didn't have, oh, look at that. Oh man, I'm telling you, back in the day when you were playing this and then you hooked it up to your boombox or the family stereo, oh my goodness. Woo! Little Silpede action right there. I'm not even gonna hammer that fire button. I'm just gonna let it sit on. Can I? Oh damn it! I don't know if I can grab that one or not. I forget. It's been a while since I played this. Oh damn. So yeah, Silpede, pretty cool game. And again, it's still really an approachable shooter. Not the best or most, visually arresting shooter today, right? Like when I think of games like Dodonpachi or Raiden or Gradius and stuff like that, right? Especially, the more recent ones. They're phenomenal. But this one, what a lovely game. All right, let's see. Oh, let's see. Am I gonna... No, I don't have any other weapons left. And it's not, it's not exactly the toughest game, although I said that now as oh, so I lost one of my cannons. Am I gonna be able to get through this? We'll see. Come on, up. Engine failure, so now you're going to move more slowly, so you have all your systems kind of collapsing, and they blew me up. Damn it.
Your life force is running out.
All right, so that is Silpede on the Sega-CD. Really, really cool. All right, let's go ahead and jump into another one. Any other recommendations or requests that people have? Let me know if you have them. If not, I'm going to continue going on. There's a couple of really good ones that we need still to get through here. So when we talk about full motion video games, and we talk about them on the Sega-CD, not being full screen and all that other stuff. There were some games that were very much like a Dragon's Lair style game. And one of my favorites was called Road Avenger, right? This game still looks just so cool, right? Even though it's, once you learn the patterns, that's kind of it. It's not very difficult to play after that. But when you're first starting out, oh my goodness, yeah, this game was really, really cool. Let's see. I'll play it on easy so I can try to get through as much of it as possible here. Oh, there we go. Everybody get out of the way, ah! Oh, yeah, these are hooligans now. Hooligans! Listen to that music, too. Oh, my goodness. Fantastic. Did anybody ever play these games? The Road Avenger, Time Gal, I think Cobra Command was another one. Anybody ever play those games? All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Enough of that. Let's look at Road Avenger. Notice how the logo, when it came in, it kind of warped a little bit, right? The power of the Sega-CD. All right, here we go. Let's see what ranking we've got. Let's press the start button and let's go. Let's go enjoy a little bit of Road Avenger. Let's see how far we can get. All right, here we go. What are our options here? We'll go in and drop. I'm going to drop. Oh, it's down to normal. So we have left, right. We have turbo, brake, and turbo. Okay, so this should be brake and turbo. Okay. All right, let's go and get this to start, and let's see what Road Avenger is going to give us here. All right, here we go. Oh, I pressed right. Damn it. All right, we'll try this again. So basically, you're just trying to hit all of these the buttons when it comes up there. Oh, come on, turn. There we go. Yeah. Oh, Man, we are fighting them all the way through this, right? Oh, I hit the brake instead of turbo. And look at that, I got destroyed. Womp, womp, womp. All right, let's go ahead and try that again. And where are we going? We're going right. Then we're going left. And left. And right. And brake. Brake. You can hear the squealing tires and squealing braking happen. Come on, come on. Get over there. Oh, yeah. Chewing us up. Okay, there we go. And there we go. And turbo, buddy. Yeah. Knocking him off the road there. Brake. And right. And left. Oh. Oh, turbo, get out of there. Woo. And then up around him. Yeah. No. Oh, sorry, kids. Wop, 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 wop. Yeah, exactly. So this was this was Road Avenger, right? So you get the point. It's a cartoon you get to go ahead and play through, just like Dragon's Lair did, right? All that other stuff. So, oh my goodness. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I think we had a little bit of an issue with the network there, but I think we're back. I think we're back and good. Okay, there we go. All right, so yeah, let me go ahead and drop out of Road Avenger, and let's go ahead and try another game. Oh, what happened there? Our network connection was unstable, and so we lost a bunch of people watching today. Oh, that's a shame. It's a shame. All right, well, maybe they'll go ahead and make their way back over here to see us. All right, let's go ahead and pick another game then while we are waiting for viewers to join us back here. All right. So, yeah, let's take a look at, all right, this one was probably the most sorry, gang, I know that there was a bit of a network issue there, and I'm glad we have our viewers back. So, if you experience it again, please go ahead and try it again. Not sure what happened there, but this is what happens, you know, sometimes when you're doing this stuff live. All right. We're going to go jump into the controversial game. This is the game that went ahead and basically brought the video game industry in front of Congress. We're going to talk a bit about why that was the case. So yeah, Night Trap hype for sure, for sure. Yeah, let me check the feed here though. Let's make sure we got this running. I think we're good. All right. So here is the quick story, little history lesson on Night Trap. So there was a game system that was being created by Hasbro called the Nemo. And I think it was the Nemo. So the Nemo or Nero. Anyways, one of the two, Nemo or Nero. Got to get this all this stuff out of my head, right? So basically what it was going to be these types of games, but done using a VCR or VHS cassette. And it turned out to be really problematic and very expensive to create. And so Hasbro walked away from the entire project. And along comes Sega and the Sega-CD. And now they can take all the work that they were doing around these interactive movies and move them to the Sega-CD. So Night Trap it is a very simple game where all you're doing is moving from room to room to look at these different cameras and then trigger traps to catch the bad guys. And I think they're called the Oogers or something like that. Anyway, but it all takes. Oh, let's hear. Here.
Hidden cameras in almost every room and a series of traps. Our agents spliced an override into the security system,
Here we go.
allowing you to have control of the cameras and the traps.
with this remote unit. Use the traps to capture anyone or anything that endangers the lives of those girls. But make sure you don't trap someone you should be protecting.
That's right.
One slight problem. The traps are protected with an access code. They won't work unless you enter the right code. Right now, the code is set to blue, and you have control of the traps. But anyone inside the house can change that code at any time.
Oh, damn it.
So pay close attention to what they're saying. Our override cable is here in hallway 1. If anyone disconnects it, you lose control. For good. This is my attack squad.
There's the attack squad.
And this is
What's
Kelly,
up?
one of my best undercover agents.
Dana Plato.
Right
Oh
with
my
the rest of the
goodness,
girls.
from different
Putting
different
your life
strokes.
and the lives of those other girls in your hands. So don't even think of messing up. If you don't have the brains or the guts for this assignment, give the
Constantly
controls to
berating
someone
you.
who
That's
does.
exactly what we'd expect from this guy. That mustache of
Girls should be
his.
pulling into the driveway.
Fantastic.
You're wasting time.
You are wasting time.
Get over there now.
Okay, we're gonna get our asses over there.
Looks like you're not up to this mission. Breaking contact.
What? Okay, there we go.
Paul, we're going in.
Okay, so now all these girls are hanging out there, and basically the augers, that's what they were called. They were called the augers.
Not to come.
You have to protect them from the augers, and you do that by hopping around the different rooms at the bottom of the screen there, and then setting off the traps. Spoiler alert: those are the vampires that are that own that house, and all these girls are going to be hanging out there for the weekend. Now, while we're kind of watching this little opening here, the thing about this is that there is one scene that takes place in the game that really I mean, if you look at it today, you're like, how ridiculous that anybody, had a problem with it. But at the time, remember, there was all this panic around video games and our kids and what it's doing to us, and all the realistic graphics it's gonna make us go crazy and all this other stuff. And so there was a bit of a moral panic that happened, and this basically caught the attention of a senator from Connecticut named Joseph Lieberman, and he basically called the games industry in front of, there are the augers moving through the house. He basically called the games industry in front of Congress, and basically the result of that, there was a fight between Nintendo and Sega right in front of Congress there. Yes, augers versus voyeurs. Absolutely true. And so what wound up happening was the government basically said, look, either you regulate yourself or we're going to regulate you. And this was the start of the ESRB, right? The Entertainment Software Ratings Boards. The reason we now have ratings basically on all of those. Hey, good to see you. So basically, the reason we have a rating system was because Night Trap basically brought the games industry in front of Congress, and so they created a rating system, which is a good thing, right? Because it at least gives more information to parents and families to understand what they're playing. And let's see. I missed the trap. That trap should be somewhere further down the hall. So where's that dude going? So this is the thing. You're just kind of like bopping around here, trying to figure out where they're going to be. Oh, the kid missed, his sister and everybody all, I don't know where. Oh, they're going outside. I think they're going outside. Let's see. No, they weren't. Oh. Oh, no, stuff's about to go down because now other people are showing up. They shouldn't be there in the house. They were told not to let other people in. Terrible. I'm hitting all of the I don't like buttons there. All right, let's go to the front hallway. It's probably where they're all going in right now. Oh, so they knew. My apologies. My apologies. Very permissive family. Anyway, so again, this was the game that created kind of this panic. And I think what I know some of this to be true is, well, look, these are real people. Our kids are watching, real people acting this stuff out. Terrible B-movie acting. Terrible B-movie acting. But that's what made it, that's what just made it fun right back then. So, okay, there's nobody around here. I got to capture at least one of these. These augers. Okay, can I? Oh, see, it says red access, so I don't have that. Shoot. Oh, I only have green access. Let's see. Right? I only have green access, so let's see. I don't think I'm going to be able... Oh no, that's just bags, not bodies. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's one of the famous scenes that were brought up. Listen to, all right, well, you know what? We're just going to have a little dance party here. Playing some guitar on that tennis racket. Oh, yes. Yes. And this is one of those games. Jetman81, you're absolutely right. This is one of those games where it had, you know, key music and these activities and stuff that went on. And oh, my goodness. This was the game that parents were afraid of back in the day. Right. But again, the good thing that did come out of this was making sure that we were informing people that play these games that they're more than just, you know, simple games. They can be more elaborate stories and content that fits basically any generation, any sort of story that we wanted to go ahead and tell. So even though they painted this as being, you know, a terrible game for kids, that hearing probably provided more advertising for this than you know, detracted kids from playing it. Here's the one last piece about this before we move on to, we'll do a couple more games here, is during the congressional hearings, this game, Nintendo made the statement and said, you will never see Night Trap on a Nintendo machine. Because, you know, that's not what we're about. Well, you can go download Night Trap today for your Switch right off of their store. So you can go ahead and play Night Trap on your Nintendo Switch. Anyway, so this is, Night Trap. Not too much of a game. It's more of an interactive story. So, Night Trap, and they made a 32X version of the game, and I also believe it was ported to the Sega Saturn. I believe it may have even been ported to the PlayStation as well. So this game is available on a whole variety of different platforms. All right, so that was Night Trap. So we went through some full motion video games. I want to go to tackle a couple of really, really good ones. Yeah, every game like Sewer Shark and Night Trap feels like a bad Chris Roberts nightmare combined into one. They are products and art of their time, trying to do things that the technology was really not equipped to do. And so for that, I love it, right? I love it. Now, I mentioned earlier that shoot 'em ups are one of my favorite genres. This one became notorious because it combined a great side-scrolling shooter with some awesome hair metals. Anybody know what we're firing up here? Quick, but before, actually, I'll pause it right now. Any guesses for a hair metal inspired soundtrack for a side-scrolling shooter? Going once, twice. No, it's not Aerosmith. That was Project X, I believe was the name of that one. Nope. This one is Lords of Thunder. Here we go. Yeah, and the Aerosmith one was a shooter with, with a light gun, right? Yeah, Revolution X. Yeah, that's the one. You got that right. All right, just listen to music in this one. Ooh, yeah, you shot CDs and people. That's right. It was a CD-based economy back then, right? CDs were so damn new. It was a CD-based economy. All right, check this one out. It's so good. Ooh, fire armor, earth, water, or wind. We'll choose some fire armor.
May I help you?
Oh, and you heard that voice too. Like, oh my goodness. How much do I have here? Yeah, we'll go grab that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you are welcome. Thank you for running such an awesome shop. And this was not an easy game either because you only had a limited amount of space in which to go ahead and move. And of course, you know, you want to get greedy and pick up all those gems. Ooh, look at that. Listen to that soundtrack. Oh, so good. I mean, remember at the time, most everything was FM synthesis, right? So now we've got Redbook audio soundtrack blaring out of your speakers at home or your headphones if you were on a Sega Genesis Model 1. Oh, yeah, a little audio. Ooh. Ooh, love it, love it, love it. Let me turn that music down a little bit. So good. And see, and again, right, we've got that parallax scrolling in the background. For those of you that do know or maybe don't know, parallax scrolling is where you have multiple layers of 2D planes that move at different speeds to give the illusion of depth, right? So your foreground's moving faster than your background, kind of like when you were a kid. Oh, look at that, dropping straight down. Oh, I forgot that it did that. So it's changing direction on you. You gotta stay on your toes. This is not an easy game. And again, I mean, you know, with the resolution that we had on the screen too, there's not a lot of room to move, right? It's not widescreen. This is 4:3 era, folks. That's why you see it on my 8-bit TV over there. If playing 16-bit games, how does it do it? Advanced technology. That's how it did it. Oh, let's see. Oh. Again, this is a game cemented right there in this era, right? From the music to the visuals. Oh, so good, so glorious. And look, you know, I don't expect, you know, people that play games today to look at these the same way that we did when we were growing up with them, right? Because they're just product of a different era. But knowing where the techniques come from, where art comes from, right, that drive games today is important, right? So, oh yeah, so that was Lords of Thunder. We're going to get through a couple. I'm going to go a little bit longer today just because, like I said, I got a little bit of a cold and I think I just want to lean into a couple of games. So another one I'm going to show you here too is Mickey Mania. And this one was really one of the most beautiful games on the Sega-CD. The animation's phenomenal. You know, if you're familiar with any of course it wasn't done by Shiny, but if you're familiar with Shiny and type of the work, some of the work that they had done in Disney games and animation, just really incredible. Disney has always done a really good job with the right developers and using their art for the most part. For the most part, and look who it is, Sony ImageSoft, right? Which of course were making games for the Sega-CD well before they had created the PlayStation, right? So here we go. 1994 is when this was published, which of course is when the PlayStation 1 came out. So this was already in development then. And here we go. That's right. We're only a few years removed from the great Aladdin game on the Genesis. I interviewed Dave Perry, who was the founder of Shiny Entertainment, on one of the other programs we do, which is called Game Industry Legends. You can find the playlist on YouTube and Twitch on our AWS for Games channels. So I interviewed him, and we were talking about how they did Aladdin. He said, really, we had an unfair advantage in that Disney animators actually did the artwork, the animated artwork that they would then take and convert into digitized form. And he's like, so we had pretty much an unfair advantage because Disney was doing our animation for us. I'm like, man, that is pretty amazing. So look at this. Here we go. This is Steamboat Willie, of course, right? This is how Mickey Mouse was first, or Mortimer Mouse was first envisioned. Look at that. It's got that black and white along with that colored art. Right? Everything you kind of expect in a Disney name. It's the one that they collected apples. Yeah, that was the one. That was the I think Magical Forest was that one. And let me get past this here. And here's the crazy thing about these Disney games, right? Is that you'd think they would be easy. They are not easy. These games were challenging games. They really did require you to have some skills to play them. So these weren't kids games. These were, can I get over there? No. Oh, look at that. And he's got his flower there. Yeah, Lion King, notoriously hard. Yep, you got that right. let me see. I think I need to get up here. And then what is it? Ring the bells. Wait, yeah, let me see. I think, do I have the app? No, I don't. I have those other things. Yeah, Castle of Illusion. Fantastic. Okay, so it's asked me to ring this bell. Where the heck is that? I can't get that either, right? Oh. Anyway, you can see beautiful artwork, but I'm going to continue moving through these because they haven't got a few more that I want to show you. So, all right. So that was Mickey Mania, the timeless adventures of Mickey Mouse. And as I mentioned, we have this other series, the Game Industry Legends series. And on the next one, that'll be happening in just about 2 weeks, I'm going to be interviewing Warren Spector, who created, of course, Deus Ex and Thief, but also worked on Wing Commander and Ultima, and also reimagined Mickey Mouse for Disney through his Epic Mickey games. And so I'll be interviewing him, and then we'll go ahead and post that interview after we conduct it in about a week and a half. So super excited for having to have Warren on the program as well. All right, so let's see. Let's go and let's just pick like 2 or 3 more, and then let you get back to your Friday afternoon. Get ready for the weekend. Okay. We can't. Okay, since we talked about Shiny Entertainment, we can't skip over this classic game. Of course, it's using it from a different region, which is why we see the SEGA-CD, which is, of course, what the Genesis or the what the Genesis was called in Europe, and in Japan was known as the Mega Drive, and of course the United States was known as the Genesis. All right, let's see. Here we go. This one would be the Earthworm Jim for SEGA-CD. You'll see this lovely beginning. Look at that, the pencil sketching that they have, and they have all these different animation loops, all these test animations that are right up front there, so you can see kind of how Jim was kind of constructed or envisioned there. And of course he's belching because that's what Jim does. Oh, I love that one. Exactly. It's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and press start, and let's jump into a little bit of the craziness that is Earthworm Jim. Enhanced audio, enhanced animation, enhanced sound effects, all because of the SEGA-CD. Oh, it's just so lovely. Such a wonderful game. All right, let's see. Come on, get off of me, dog. Oh, come on. So in the interview that I did with Dave Perry, he talked about the fact that, let's see, I don't want to whip up there. Can I do that? There we go. Cow launched, and if you never played Earthworm Jim, you know that cow shows up a whole lot later in the game. But I asked him about, kind of the inspiration for Earthworm Jim, and how did they come up with all the wackiness? And he said, they would constantly have like Tex Avery cartoons playing. Tex Avery, of course, really, oh, come on, I have to jump up and grab that. Come on. There we go. Tex Avery, of course, one of the famous Warner Brothers animators. So they would constantly have Warner Brothers cartoons up and rolling in their offices to give them inspiration for building the games that they did. And you can see that inspiration all over Earthworm Jim. It looks like a weird Bugs Bunny style cartoon, right? Come on. Yeah. Again, you got that parallax scrolling in the background there. Fantastic. There goes Jim climbing up. Let's see. Can we get over to this side here? No. Fantastic soundtrack. And again, it just took everything that Earthworm Jim was doing on the Sega Genesis and amping everything up from, again, audio, animation. Yeah, just really, really cool. All right, let's see. Let's continue making our way through here. Oh, missed that. Come on, can we get down here? Yeah, and Earthworm Jim was a bit floaty in the way it worked. So, there were parts of it where collision may not have been exactly right. Oh, let's see. Ow! Okay, come on, get off. Come on. All right, so let's make our way up this junk waterfall. So you got to get all the way to the top in this conveyor belt here. Come on, get over there, get over there. All right, and there we go. And we should be at the continue. Good. And of course you got voiceover and all that other stuff. Yeah, really good. Yeah, this was also a golden age of Interplay Entertainment as a publisher. You're absolutely right. You know, this was their era. And, you know, I'd remarked to Dave when we were doing the interview that I remember the CEO at the time, Bruno Bonnell, talking about the type of games that they were going to... oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I was thinking Interplay. Sorry. Different one. Yeah. I was thinking not of Interplay, but Infogram, rather. So, yeah, it's the problem when you have too much game history jammed into your damn brain. Isn't that right? Yeah, so that was Earthworm Jim on the Sega-CD. Again, just more of everything that Earthworm Jim had on the Genesis, but on the not so mighty, but super fun Sega-CD. All right, let's go ahead and pick maybe one or two more. Let's see. What is going to be a good one? Did I have... Oh, yeah. Okay. One of my favorite... Thank you. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. I get a pass on that. I appreciate it. All right. One of my favorite games on the Genesis in total was Road Rash 2. Fantastic game. Still immensely playable today. But I'm going to have to go ahead and probably turn down the volume on the game a little bit because there's, you know, copywritten music in this. But this version, this is... The 3DO actually had the best version of Road Rash. If you haven't played it, you may not know that, but no, it was for Road Rash, for sprite-driven Road Rash, it was the best. So this was the version for the Sega CD that Electronic Arts also used. All of the audio, all of the video, everything for the 3DO, they basically ported over to the Sega CD. Soundgarden featured really heavily into it. I think there's even a couple of music videos on the track. And they used the video for all the different cutscenes, you know, when you got pulled over by the cops or you didn't win the race or whatever. And again, very much a product of its time. So I'm warning you, you know, in the way that they portray the different characters here. But just such a fun freaking game to play. And again, if you're playing this with, you know, on a stereo and it's loud and it's or using headphones, it's awesome, right? It's just awesome. We'll just go to thrash mode. We'll just go play a little bit of that. Let's go grab the Peninsula. And oh yeah, man. Again, if you have access to any of these sorts of games and want to just go really play a good series, it's just a lot of fun to play. Road Rash still holds up today, right, kids? That's right. All right, here we go. Getting ready to race. And again, we talk about the era in which these things were done. You can see, man, that this was the 90s. Let's see. All right. All right, there's my accelerate. And then where's there's my hit buttons there. Now, one of the things that were really difficult actually for the Genesis to do, that they did a pretty good job with here, is when you see hills, right? The vertical hills there. It's hard. It was harder to do in sprite-based systems, just because of the distortion, the warping they would have to do with either textures, but there's no real geometry going on there, right? So they're faking it to obscure your view. So they're really just moving your plane of view kind of up and down. But it was really believable that you're on these hills and you're kind of tearing through this stuff. What I do love about Road Rash as well, I'm not sure if it was for... No, I do think it was for at least from Road Rash 2 forward, is all the other racers have a memory. So if you start attacking a particular racer, don't take them out. Or even if you do, when you're playing in kind of like their campaign mode, they remember that you attacked them. So they become more aggressive in later levels. Oh, so damn good. So good. I wish I could turn the volume up a little bit louder. I may actually have to turn it down a little bit there, just because, again, it's, it's licensed music that they wound up using. One of the, the things that becomes difficult to license content with is the fact that, sometimes we're not able to, right? And rightly so. Artists should be paid for the work that they have and the work that they provide. So, there we go. There we go. Oh my goodness. So yeah, smacking these fools with a bat while on the back of a motorcycle. Really, really awesome. Here comes Rhonda. I don't know where she is. 7th place. Yeah, I'm not going to finish out the level here because we're going to have to get wrapped up here momentarily. But although I really want to, let's see. Okay. Okay, I've got that acceleration going. Let's see. There's other obstacles in the road. I think there's like animals, cows and stuff like that wander in depending on where you are. City level is a really good one because it does feel like you're jammed in the city. And I do believe that the Sega-CD version also has some of the alternate pathing that was also included in the 3DO version. So no, this one is legit a great game to go ahead and play, and a good challenge, right? It's a good racing game. It's a good obstacle avoidance game. It's got definite style, right? And particular art style to it. And it's, just so much fun to play, right? And in fact, in this era for EA, I mean, this was like peak EA sprite-based sort of games, right? Yay! We went ahead and finished. We got 4th place. I'm going to probably lose. Let's see what video they go ahead and pop up as the losing video here. Up there he is, going for a drink, and you're walking over. And now, of course, they're going to beat you up because why? Oh, womp, womp, womp.
Your life force is running out.
Yeah, his life force is running out. Oh, look at that. And that beer knocked him out. So that's it. All right. Let's go ahead and choose one more game, and then we're going to get out of here and let you get back to the rest of your day. And so what game should that be? Probably, you know what? We're not going to be able to play this, but it's good to see. So this game is one of the most sought after games on the Sega-CD, and it was made by the infamous Hideo Kojima. This is Snatcher, which is the science fiction, cyberpunky type of adventure game. And here we are in 1994 playing this. And there's that wonderful Konami chime that we all know from Castlevania and Contra and Tiny Toons games and all that stuff. Really, really cool. Let's see. I'll just show you the beginning here. Oh, a cyberpunk adventure. There was another one called Rise of the Dragon, which was an exceptional game by Dynamics, which I also have on here. And that one is really, really good too. So draw a blaster, cancel, select, or shoot. There we go. And we'll quit there. And it's going to have this opening scene. Look at that. Opens just like a movie does, right? Because we have the power of the CD-ROM with us. So we're going to actually blast right through there. But it becomes a more traditional point-and-clicky type of adventure game that we see here. Look, Sega in the background. They have ASCII 2, Sony, all these different places represented in this future. It's the Junker headquarters. That's right. So good. I mean, it makes me so happy to go back and experience these games because they came in at such a wonderful era of actually they all do. Each one of the systems that we talk about here on Rewind, right, did something really cool within the era in which they did it. Even if it wasn't cool, they changed the way the industry kind of worked, right? And so when you go back and you look at the Sega-CD and you talk to the people around that time, I had the chance to interview Tom Kalinske, the former CEO of Sega of America, and he said, no, we didn't view the Sega-CD as a failure or anything like that, because it was a necessary step forward. It helped us to better understand how to make games for a CD medium, what the market actually wanted, right? So while they may have not been, the most widely adopted games or systems rather, it did help to kind of bring forward the technology and better understanding how to use it. Now, of course, Sega had a problem where they had too many systems at the same time in market trying to support it. And as they basically shut those down, trust and confidence in them to stick with the system they had started to wane, which was unfortunate because the Dreamcast is one of the greatest machines ever made. We talk to game developers today, you talk to gamers that experienced it as well, they will just tell you it hit on so many different beats and had so much forward thinking in that one machine that it was just unfortunate that they weren't able to kind of weather that storm, right? But now we get to experience Sega games on a whole variety of platforms. So more access is always better, right? Anyway, so this is, traditional point and click adventure game. So if I want to go ahead and look, let's go look and talk to the operator. There we go. Let's go talk to her.
I'm Gillian Seed. I've been assigned to Junker headquarters effective today.
And here we go.
Oh, you're Mr. Seed.
Oh.
Please forgive me.
Oh, okay.
My name is
forgive
Mika
you.
Slayton. I'm the administrative assistant and operator here at
She
Junker
is.
headquarters. Very pleased to meet you.
Yeah, and so we're not going to, like I said, go through this, but Snatcher, really a fun game to go and play. It's not terribly long, so you have a chance to go and play it. Definitely go ahead and check that out. And then, okay, come on. We got to just, one more. We're only 15 minutes past the hour. One more good one. Let's see. What are we going to play next? We can't look at a Sega machine without looking at Echo the Dolphin. Now, one of the cool things that Echo did, and I don't believe it's in this one that I have, is they had a system called Q-Sound. And what Q-Sound would do is it create a positional audio with only 2 speakers. So surround sound systems at this time were only really in homes of people that could afford to spend the money on those things. But what this did was that it gave you a sense of surround from just 2 speakers. Now, you had to sit perfectly still in front of it, and I don't believe it's this one. I believe it's the next one, which I think it's like Tides of Time or something like that. But if you sat perfectly in the middle, you could actually hear positional audio from the game, which was pretty awesome. Oh, no, this is Tides of Time. It was the next one, I believe, by Nova Trade. So, yeah, this was Echo the Dolphin. Just a lovely underwater adventure with your buddy Echo. And, yeah, that's... I'm not going to play too much into this either, just because we're past it. I've got Mortal Kombat here. We all know what Mortal Kombat is. Actually, it would be fun to go ahead. Actually, let's do that real quick. Let's go take a look at Mortal Kombat, since Mortal Kombat 1 just got re-released, or got released, right? Hopefully you're playing it. Really fantastic game. But here we go. Mortal Kombat on the SEGA-CD. If you played this game at the time it came out, did you play it on the Genesis or did you play it on the Super Nintendo? Right? I played it on Genesis, although I also had the Super Nintendo just because Genesis had the blood in it, right? And it played faster than it did on the Super Nintendo. But they went ahead and ported it over here to the SEGA-CD, and pretty decent port. Again, it's not worlds apart from what the Genesis had, but yeah, it was something for its era. I'll have to go ahead and get some of the folks that worked on the original Mortal Kombat onto the Game Industry Legends program as well, and see if we can do it. Also, who's your favorite character if you played it? Who's your favorite character? Mine, of course, Raiden. There is no choice. There is no substitute. He is the best. Although on this control, let's see if I can pull off lightning on it. Let's see. One of the problems with the CD, of course, loading. Prepare to fight, right? So you got to wait for the darn thing to load up. But here we go. Ooh. All right, let me see. On this controller, what is it? Okay, that's this one. Yeah, me get. Come on. Can I do lightning here? Come on, get up. Shoot. I'm not playing on an actual Genesis controller. Sonya won. She kicked my butt because Raiden, you know. Let me get out of the way here. Come on, get back. Yeah, and it's kind of like Chun-Li's windmill kick. Raiden's got those fists he can rapid fire in there, right? Without even actually casting any lightning. But anyway, that is the awesome SEGA-CD add-on for the Sega Genesis. So there we go, folks. That will wrap up this episode of Rewind. And remember, if you are a video game developer of any size, from AAA to indies, make sure you head on over to aws.amazon.com/GameTech to discover the products, solutions, and services that we offer to help you on your cloud game development journey. And of course, I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Waterflame for allowing us to use his music here on Rewind. Make sure you head on over to his YouTube channel at Waterflame Music to check out his incredible work. And if you care about preserving the history of video games as much as I do, make sure you head on over to the Video Game History Foundation's website at gamehistory.org. They're doing incredible work to preserve the history of our industry for future generations. So I want to thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next week on Rewind.